Hello again, welcome back to the Natural History Museum here in Los Angeles, California. We are back at the Gem and Mineral exhibit. Didn't have enough time to finish our look last time, so we're going to come back and have a look at some more of the items they have here on display. And I want to just go back to the display on gold, because the history of gold is intimately linked with the history of science. Because as we needed to measure gold and refine gold, our need for good measurements and good weights became greater and greater. And as we needed to refine our measurements, then that was sort of hand in glove with science, or pseudoscience of the day, with our alchemy and astrology of the day. So let's have a look at some of the stuff they've got here with the gold exhibit, and talk about how some of these things led to modern science. So we're going to walk around this way, and I'm probably going to have to cut the camera for a second so you don't get all dizzy. Here we go. Alright, here we are at the gold exhibit. And we've been trying to figure out, because it's not labeled, what this object is right here. That looks almost like a little guitar. And we've come to the conclusion that it is a portable scale for an assayer or a miner on site to be able to weigh his gold and attempt to determine how much he has. You see a little dish and some string hanging from the bar there. So I think you open this apparatus up and it becomes a little portable scale. So pretty much everyone's heard the story of King Midas and his famous Midas touch, turning things to gold. He's famous for another reason. That's more of a myth. He didn't turn things into gold. What Midas did was the first person to standardize the mixtures of gold and the weights of gold. As you got gold from different port cities around the Mediterranean, it could be mixed with other minerals, other metals. It can be thinned out. Even today, you can still see the difference in gold that's produced in different parts of the world. Gold from Turkey and Bahrain has a darker luster to it, is mixed with more copper and nickel. So Midas's claim to fame, which really made a difference at the time, was to be able to standardize gold coins. Oh, and that was the other big deal. Well, as you make a gold coin, gold is very soft, and it's very hard to resist the temptation of shaving just a little bit off the edge of that coin. So it would still look about the right size and shape, but you've shaved off just a little bit of it. You shave off a little bit of each one, and before you know it, you've accumulated a little bit of gold for yourself, and given yourself a discount on the things you're buying. So Midas put an end to that with his standardization of gold weights and measures and gold coins, and his coins became the coin of international trade of his day. So as I mentioned before, the ancient astrologers, alchemists pursued gold not for its intrinsic value or for its value in trade, but for them it was much like here with the Egyptians, a symbol of immortality, because it had such unique properties. Acids don't attack it, it doesn't rust, it doesn't tarnish. Not that you can see, it does oxidize a little bit, but it doesn't actually form a rust, and you can rub it off very quickly. And it's also very malleable. You can take an ounce of gold and pound it into a wire that is a mile long, and it won't break. No other metal will do that. And that's one of the tests for gold, is testing the malleability. I don't think anyone actually makes a mile-long wire. This is interesting, though. Here's an example of a helmet where the gold is pounded so thin it is placed on the inside of the visor. Here's another example of that exact same thing. The astronaut face masks had gold lining the glass on the inside to protect the astronauts from radiation, because gold is thick and heavy as a molecule, just like lead. Lead is, of course, much less expensive to use, but the gold will block the gold molecules are big enough to stop the radiation. And you've got that big window right there at the front of your spacesuit that lets all that radiation in. The rest of the spacesuit is lined to protect you from the radiation when you're exposed in space. But that's why we see that. And that outer visor is actually liftable. And it's thin enough to see through, and it's just like wearing heavy sunglasses is what the astronauts said about it. Here you can see some of the different colors of gold. So you can see a little bit of what Midas was doing. And here it's talking about how the gold is combined with other metals. So 24 carats of pure gold all the way over here on the left. And then we have the 22 carat, which has silver, 18 carat, which has iron, 15 with copper, 12 carat with half and half silver, and then down here is another 12 carat with half and half copper. This is a lot of gold. Sure wouldn't mind taking some of this home with me. We'd cash some of this in and fund our moon mission just lickety-split. Well, let's look at what else we've got here in the gem and mineral exhibit. And see what else we can learn about some of the interesting geology here in Southern California.